Well, Americans voted against the Joe Biden economy in 2024 with inflation and the perception of Democratic ineptitude clinching Donald Trump's presidential win. Just 1 month into Trump's presidency, however, Americans are gloomier than they were at the end of Biden's term. Joining us now, Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman, who wrote about this in the latest edition of Trumponomics. Good to see you, Rick. So I guess the Biden economy is looking a little bit different now.
Be careful what you ask for, I guess. Well, I mean, if you look at just a bunch of different measures we've seen in the last couple of weeks, consumer confidence now back down to the levels of last June or so, investor confidence down to levels of 2023. I mean, it's striking that after Kamala Harris of the Biden-Harris administration lost in November, we did see a little spike in consumer confidence. We know all along that voters gave Trump and Republicans in general higher marks on handling of the economy. But now we're only a month into the Donald Trump administration. I guess we're into the second month now. And we're seeing the marks going back down to where they were at pretty ugly times during the Biden administration, such as when inflation was raging. And this is happening as we're actually seeing not just strains on sentiment, but also what might be some actual cracks in the economy. We've been talking about this a lot this week. Jobless claims are up. That coincides with Trump trying to fire all these federal workers. Maybe not a coincidence. How high do we really want unemployment to go? We're now seeing weak spending numbers. Some economists now predicting that we're going to have negative GDP growth in the first quarter. This is not random. A lot of this has to do with what we've been talking about incessantly, which is Trump threatening to impose tariffs, actually doing it in some cases, trying to kind of demolish the federal government, deport migrant workers. And this is having an effect on the economy. I mean, it is clearly starting to show up. So I think what markets want to know is how far does Trump really want to go here? Because right now we're in a game of chicken between Donald Trump and financial markets, and Donald Trump is showing no sign of slowing down.
Well, it's interesting, Rick, because there has been obviously this perception when you look at the survey data. The Democrats are a lot more worried about the economy right now than Republicans are. And so some economists have, I guess, taken those readings less seriously, perhaps because of that. How are you thinking about that disconnect that we've seen, which obviously is a absolute flip-flop of what we were seeing before the election?
Yeah, right. So there's a political bias. It's now very obvious. There's a political bias in the way people view the economy, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. But the people who determine elections are not really Democrats or Republicans anymore. They're independents or people in the middle. That is also a very important voting bloc. And those people show up in surveys. And for the most part, they're not as gloomy as Democrats, but their sentiment is getting worse, not better. So if you just kind of call that the middle is getting gloomier too. And I think the thing that we really need to be paying attention to is when consumer sentiment, which is fickle, but when that actually starts to align with what we see happening in the economy and also with business sentiment. I mean, we are hearing from almost every direction at this point that businesses are putting investment plans, spending plans on hold. They're putting hiring plans on hold. Totally logical as you wait to see what is going to happen with these Trump tariffs. Are we going to get through just a period of sort of fanatical threats, and then it'll all kind of settle after 6 or 8 months, or is this just going to go on for the next 4 years? The U.S. economy, it's a remarkable engine, but it's fragile on the margin. And these sorts of things that Trump is doing, they are going to make a difference, and they're starting to show up, and they're showing up quickly. I mean, just for what it's worth, Trump's approval rating now is lower than Joe Biden's was at the same point in his presidency, and it has also fallen faster than Biden's approval rating. So maybe Trump doesn't care. Maybe he feels like he's he's king, but a lot of the rest of us care.